I slammed the front door and dropped my bag on the floor. Daniel, where's my car? My voice cracked before I even reached the kitchen. He didn't look up from the counter. It's gone. Gone? I froze. What do you mean gone? Did you park it somewhere else? Did it get towed? Daniel rubbed his forehead like I was the one being unreasonable. Stop panicking. We sold it. My ears rang. We? Who the hell is we? Claire walked in, her pale hands wrapped around a steaming mug. Don't yell. It was for me. I spun toward her. You? What are you talking about? That was my car. My savings. My dream. She sipped slowly, eyes calm. I needed treatment. You know how expensive it is. Daniel and I agreed this was the right thing to do. My chest burned. The right thing for who? Certainly not for me. You didn't even ask. Daniel finally met my eyes. You're overreacting. Claire's health comes first. She's your sister. My sister? I laughed, sharp and hollow. So that makes it okay to strip me of the one thing I worked for? Claire set her mug down. Don't be dramatic. It's just a car? Just a car? My throat tightened. Do you know how many double shifts I worked? How many nights I skipped meals just to save up? That car was mine. It wasn't yours to touch. Daniel reached out like he could calm me. Babe, you'll get another one someday. I jerked back. Don't call me babe. You sold my life without blinking. Do you have any idea what you've done? He sighed, impatient now. You're making this harder than it has to be. Claire's recovering. Isn't that more important? I shook my head. If you'd asked me, if you'd trusted me, maybe I could have found another way. But you lied. You went behind my back. That's not love, Daniel. That's betrayal. Claire leaned against the counter, watching me like I was a child throwing a tantrum. You'll thank us later. When I'm better, you'll see this was worth it. Worth it? My voice dropped to a whisper. You think my sacrifice is a gift you can demand? You think my dream is nothing compared to your comfort? Her smile widened. You've always been selfish. Maybe this will teach you how to care for someone other than yourself. I stepped closer, trembling. Selfish? I gave up everything for years. I carried both of you. Rent, bills, groceries, I handled it all. And the one thing I claimed for myself you ripped away. Daniel's jaw tightened. Enough, you're twisting it. We didn't do this to hurt you. But you did hurt me. I pointed at him, my hand shaking. You stood beside her and decided my voice didn't matter. Do you know how humiliating that feels? To be erased in your own life? The room went silent except for Claire's slow breathing. She didn't flinch. She didn't care. Finally, she spoke, soft but sharp. I'll heal because of your car. One day you'll realize it wasn't betrayal. It was love. Love? The word tasted bitter on my tongue. Love doesn't take without asking. Love doesn't sell what it didn't build. Love doesn't crush someone and call it sacrifice. Daniel stepped forward again. You're upset now, but time will fix this. We'll get through it, I laughed, a broken sound. Through what? There's nothing left to get through. You crossed the line. You chose her over me without hesitation. Tell me, Daniel, was it about her health or was it about you needing an excuse to side with her? His eyes flickered just for a second before he steadied himself. Don't twist it. I'm not twisting anything. I see you. I see both of you. Claire picked up her mug again, smiling faintly. If you want to hate us, fine. But you'll see someday. A car is just metal and wheels. Family is forever, I whispered. Family doesn't steal. Daniel reached for me again, softer this time. Please, don't walk away like this. I pulled my arm back. I already did. The moment you sold my car, you sold me too. The words hung in the air like smoke. Claire's smile faltered, just barely. Daniel's lips pressed thin, but he said nothing. I grabbed my bag, my keys that no longer fit into any ignition, and headed for the door. My body shook with every step. Where are you going? Daniel called after me. Anywhere but here. My voice cracked. Because if I stay, I'll drown in the memory of what you took. I slammed the door behind me. The echo rattled through my bones. On the sidewalk, the empty space where my car once sat gaped like a wound. I stood there, staring at nothing, feeling the weight of everything. My dream was gone. My trust was gone. And all I had left was the fury boiling inside me. I whispered to the night, "You think it's over." But it isn't. This is just the beginning. Claire leaned back on the couch, her hair pinned perfectly despite the fact she claimed she was too weak to do much. She smiled at me, slow and sweet. the kind of smile that should have warmed me but instead scraped against my chest. "Thank you, little sister," she said softly. "I know you're angry, but you'll see in time. What you gave me was more precious than money." I gritted my teeth. "Don't twist it. I didn't give you anything. You took it." Daniel sat beside her, his hand resting too easily on hers. He gave her fingers a small squeeze, like it was some silent reassurance. My stomach twisted. He said, "She needed it, love. You can't keep holding on to anger. Claire's recovery matters more than a car." I stared at their joined hands. "Do you even hear yourself? Do you realize how you look right now?" Claire tilted her head. "You're imagining things. Daniel's only comforting me. Stop being paranoid." "Paranoid?" My laugh cracked. "You steal from me, hold hands in front of me, and then call me paranoid? You expect me to stay quiet while you both play innocent?" Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Don't make this uglier than it is. We did what was necessary." "No," I snapped. "You did what was easy. You didn't ask me, didn't respect me. You just made the choice that suited you." Claire sighed like I was being dramatic. "We've always been family first. That car was just a thing. Don't confuse things with people." I leaned forward, my voice sharp. "Family first? You mean Claire first. Always Claire. Always her comfort, her excuses, her needs. When was it ever about me?" Daniel shifted uncomfortably, but his hand didn't move from hers. "That's not fair. I've always supported you." "Supported me?" I scoffed. "You stood there while she stole my dream. If that's support, I'd hate to see betrayal." Claire smiled again, softer, cutting deeper than her words. "You'll thank me later. This'll make you stronger. You've always been too attached to things." I shook my head. "No, Claire. I was attached to what I earned. You're attached to what you steal." Her lips pressed together, but her eyes glittered with satisfaction. Daniel tried again. "We can move past this if you let go of your pride. Holding on to resentment will only hurt you." I stood trembling. "Stop pretending this is about me being prideful. You sold me out and you want me to smile about it. That's not healing. That's manipulation." They said nothing. The silence between us thickened until I couldn't breathe. I turned and left before my anger shattered into something I couldn't control. Mia met me at the cafe the next day, her eyes sharp the moment I sat down. She didn't even wait for me to order. "What happened? You look like hell." I bit down on my lip until I tasted blood. "They sold it, my car, without asking. Said it was for Claire's treatment." Her jaw dropped. "Are you serious?" "That car was your baby. You worked years for it." I nodded, tears burning but refusing to fall. "They said I'm selfish for caring. Like I should just smile and clap for their decision." Mia leaned forward, voice low but fierce. "That's not love. That's gaslighting. They made you doubt yourself so they could walk away clean." I pressed my hands to my face. "Daniel?" He held her hand while telling me it was for family. "I don't even know what to think anymore." Mia's eyes narrowed. "Held her hand? In front of you?" "Yes," my voice cracked. Like it was normal. Like it was his duty to comfort her, not me. "That's not normal," she said flatly. "Something's off. Either he's blinded by her or there's more going on than they admit." Her words echoed the suspicion already poisoning my mind. "Do you really think so? Or am I just jealous and bitter?" Mia reached across the table, gripping my wrist. "Listen to me. You're not crazy. You're not bitter. You're betrayed. And if you don't start seeing it clearly, they'll keep making you the villain." I swallowed hard. "So what do I do? Walk away? Fight back? Pretend I don't see what's happening?" Mia's grip tightened. "First, stop doubting your instincts. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Second, don't let them rewrite the story. You know the truth. Don't let them erase it." The weight in my chest eased, just a little. "You really think I'm not imagining it?" She nodded firmly. "I know you. You wouldn't invent this. You're loyal to a fault. And they're using it against you." I leaned back, shaking my head. "I feel like I'm standing in a burning house, and they're telling me it's just the sun." Mia smirked sadly. "Then stop standing there. Either get out or light your own fire." Her words sank deep, stirring something sharp inside me. For the first time since it happened, I felt less alone. I whispered, more to myself than her, "If they wanted to break me, they'll regret it." Mia's smile turned fierce. "Good. Hold on to that." That night, lying in bed, I replayed Claire's smile, Daniel's hand on hers, their voices twisting guilt into love. My rage tangled with suspicion, a storm with no end. I whispered into the dark, "If this is family, then I'd rather stand alone." I stood in the hallway that night, the glow from the living room spilling just far enough for me to catch their voices. Claire whispered, "She doesn't suspect. She still thinks it was only about the car." Daniel's reply was lower, almost guilty. "You shouldn't say that out loud." My breath froze. I pressed closer to the wall. Claire's tone softened, almost playful. "You're always so tense. She won't hear us." "She never does. I couldn't stop myself." I stepped inside. "Never does what?" They both jumped. Daniel forced a smile. "You startled us. What are you doing awake?" "Couldn't sleep." My eyes narrowed. "Sounded like an interesting conversation." Claire's smile sharpened. "We were just talking about my treatment. Nothing important. Funny," I said coldly. "Didn't sound like nothing." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. "You're reading too much into it." I stared at him. "That's what you always say. Am I supposed to believe every whisper is harmless? Every deleted message an accident?" His expression flickered, guilt flashing before he buried it. "Stop digging." "You'll only hurt yourself," Claire laughed softly. "You're paranoid again. Do you really think there's some secret between us?" "Yes," my voice cracked. "Because every word, every look, every late-night errand screams it." Daniel snapped, harsher this time. "Drop it. Why?" I stepped closer, shaking. "If there's nothing to hide, why can't you say it plain?" Claire folded her arms, her smile unbothered. "You're imagining shadows where there's only light. Then why do those shadows feel heavier than truth?" Daniel muttered, "You're twisting everything." "Claire and I—" He stopped, biting the words. "You and Claire what?" I demanded. "Finish it." The silence that followed was louder than any confession. Finally, Claire shrugged. "Think what you want. It won't change what's already happened." I glared at both of them, heart hammering. "No, it won't. But it changes me." The next day, I cornered Daniel in the driveway. "Where were you last night after I went to bed?" I asked. He frowned. "Work?" I shook my head. "No, I checked." "You weren't on shift." His jaw tightened. "Why are you spying on me?" "Because you don't give me answers," I hissed. "Because every time I look at you, I see lies stitched into your skin." He grabbed my arm, voice low. "Don't do this. Don't ruin us with your doubts." I yanked free. "I'm not ruining us." "You are." He looked away, silence confirming what he couldn't say. Later, Mia sat with me in the park, her eyes sharp. I told her everything. The whispers, the deleted texts, the late-night outings. She slammed her drink on the bench. "That's not coincidence. That's cover-up." I buried my face in my hands. "But if I accept that, it means both of them betrayed me. Not just the car, not just money, everything." Mia leaned in. "I know it hurts, but you can't cling to denial forever. If they're crossing lines, you need to see it." My voice shook. "How do I face it? How do I live knowing love and family are lies?" Her answer was blunt. "You don't collapse, you rise. Let their choices define them, not you." I wiped my eyes. "Easier said than done?" "Maybe. But the truth's already clawing its way out. You can't stop it." Her words sank in like stones. That night, I confronted Claire in her room. "Why does Daniel delete his messages with you?" I asked. She looked up from her phone, expression unreadable. "Because it's private." "Private?" I snapped. "He's my boyfriend," she smirked. "And I'm your sister. Maybe you should trust us." "Trust?" My voice broke. "Trust is exactly what you've broken." She tilted her head, smile cutting deeper than knives. "Maybe you should stop asking questions you don't want answers to." I froze, the ache in my chest sharper than any blade. I whispered, "Then there is something." Claire didn't deny it. She just smiled as if silence itself was confession. Lying in bed, I replayed their words, their touches, their evasions. My heart twisted between denial and rage, torn in two directions. Half of me wanted to curl up and disappear, to believe none of it was real. The other half wanted to rise, to drag the truth into the light no matter how much it burned. I whispered to myself, if they think I'll stay blind, they don't know me at all. I opened Claire's bedroom door without knocking, my chest tight, my breath shallow. Daniel's voice was low, intimate. You shouldn't keep pushing her. She's already suspicious, Claire laughed softly. Suspicion doesn't matter. She's too blinded by love to do anything. My heart dropped, and for a second the world spun. I stepped inside. Blinded by love? They both froze. Daniel's hand was on her knee. Claire's lips curled in surprise, then in mock pity. Daniel stammered, "It's not what it looks like," I shouted, louder than I'd ever heard myself. "Then what is it, Daniel?" "Tell me what it is." Claire's eyes glittered. "Don't yell. You'll wake the neighbors." I ignored her, my gaze locked on him. "Answer me." You sat here in her room whispering like lovers, holding her like she's yours. Do you take me for a fool? Daniel stood quickly, hands raised. Calm down, calm down. My voice cracked. I gave you everything. I trusted you with my heart, my future, my dreams. And you gave them to her. Claire smirked, her calm more violent than shouting. Don't be so dramatic. You always overthink. Daniel cares for me, that's all. I snapped toward her. Don't you dare use that word, care. This isn't care. This is betrayal. Daniel grabbed my shoulders, desperate. Listen to me. It's complicated. You don't understand. I shoved him back. Oh, I understand. I understand that you lied to my face. I understand that you sold my car for her. And now I see why. You weren't saving her, you were choosing her. He swallowed hard, eyes flicking away. That silence was enough. I laughed, hollow and sharp. There it is. You don't even deny it. Claire stood, brushing invisible dust off her dress. So what if he chose me? He sees what you don't. You're weak. You cling to things. You drown in emotions. He needed someone stronger. Her words stabbed deep, but I didn't flinch. Stronger? You leech off everyone around you. You steal and smile while doing it. That's not strength, Claire. That's rot, Daniel's face twisted. Stop this. You're tearing everything apart, I screamed, the sound ripping through my throat. No, you already tore it apart. You ripped me open and laughed while I bled. The room shook with silence after my scream. My chest heaved, tears burning but refusing to fall. I whispered, trembling. I see you now. Both of you. For what you really are. Daniel reached for me again. Don't. I stepped back, shaking my head. Don't touch me. Don't speak my name. You don't get to call me yours anymore. Claire tilted her chin, defiant. You'll regret this. You'll realize we did what was right. I stared at her, my voice steady despite the storm inside. No. The only regret here is yours, and it will come when you realize what you destroyed can't be rebuilt. They said nothing. Daniel's hands hung useless at his sides. Claire's smile faltered for the first time. I turned toward the door, every step heavier than the last. My body shook, but my voice was firm. You sold my car. You sold my trust. You sold me. And I swear, you'll never have me again. The door slammed behind me, the sound final, like the crack of a whip. Outside, the night air was cold against my burning skin. I stumbled down the street, away from the house that was no longer mine, from the people who no longer deserved my loyalty. I whispered into the darkness, my voice breaking but certain. No more tears. No more begging. No more waiting for them to love me right. The silence answered, heavy but freeing. I raised my head, swallowing the ache in my chest. I won't cry anymore, I said to the stars. I will rise. Even if it kills me, I will rise. The wind brushed past, carrying my vow into the night. And for the first time, the weight in my chest began to shift, not gone, but changing, reshaping into something fierce. I walked on, with nothing but rage and the memory of my stolen car, but it was enough to keep me moving. The shop smelled like oil and rust, the kind of place most people avoided. For me, it felt like air I could finally breathe. First time working in a garage? The owner asked, leaning against the doorway. Yes, I admitted, but I learned fast. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded toward a wrecked car shoved in the corner. That heap's been sitting here for months. You want to prove yourself. Start there. I walked over, ran my hand along the dented hood. The metal was scarred, broken, forgotten. It looked exactly like me. Later, a quiet voice broke the silence. You're really going to fix that? I turned to see a man crouched near the workbench. He was tall, with grease on his hands and an old scar tracing down his arm. His eyes were steady but guarded. Yes, I said. Why, you think I can't? He shrugged. Didn't say that. Just curious. I wiped sweat from my forehead. Who are you? Ethan. He nodded once. Been working here a while? I waited, but he didn't offer more. Well, Ethan, I guess we'll be seeing each other a lot. He gave a faint smile. Guess so. Days passed, and I found myself talking to him while working. Why this car? He asked one evening, watching me struggle with a rusted bolt. Because it's broken, I muttered. And so am I. He tilted his head. So fixing it means fixing you? I looked up, meeting his eyes. Every bolt I tighten feels like a piece of me coming back. I need that, Ethan leaned against the wall. Makes sense. Cars don't lie. You fix them, they run. People... Not so simple, I paused. Is that why you don't talk much? People aren't simple? He smirked faintly. Something like that? At night, when the garage closed, I stayed late, staring at the wreck as if it could speak back. One night, Ethan lingered. Why don't you go home? Because I don't have one, I said quietly. He frowned. Everyone's got somewhere. Not me, I whispered. Not anymore. He studied me for a moment. That's rough, I laughed bitterly. That's life. He crouched near the car, his voice low. You know, scars don't mean you're finished. They just mean you survived something that tried to end you. I looked at the long scar down his arm. That one? He glanced at it. Yeah, reminds me every day I'm still here. I tightened another bolt, the metal screeching. Then maybe this car will be my scar. A reminder I didn't break completely. One morning, Mia dropped by, wrinkling her nose at the grease stains on my shirt. You're really doing this? She asked. Yes, she leaned closer to the wreck. This thing's barely a car. Why waste your time? Because it's mine now, I said firmly. Because no one can take it from me. Her eyes softened. So this isn't about the car. It's about you, I nodded. Exactly. Ethan walked past us then, carrying tools. Mia raised her brows. And who's that? I rolled my eyes. A coworker, Ethan glanced back. Coworker, huh? Mia smirked. Seems more like a guardian angel covered in grease. I shot her a look. Don't start. She held up her hands. Fine, but don't push people away just because others betrayed you. Not everyone's them. Her words lingered long after she left. One night, exhausted, I collapsed onto the floor, staring at the half-fixed engine. Maybe I can't do this. Ethan crouched beside me. You've done more than most would have tried. Why stop now? Because it hurts, I whispered. Every time I look at it, I see what I lost. He handed me a wrench. Then turn that hurt into fuel. Don't let it stop you. I gripped the tool, my hands trembling. What if I fail? Then you fail, he said simply. And you try again. That's how survival works. I stared at him, my chest heavy. How do you keep going? He touched his scar absently. Because I already lost once. I don't want to lose again. The silence between us was heavy, but it felt real, solid. I whispered, maybe we're both wrecks trying to run again. Maybe, he said. But wrecks can be rebuilt. Weeks passed. Piece by piece, the car began to resemble life again. Piece by piece, so did I. Ethan watched as I tightened the final bolt one evening. Looks good, I smiled faintly. Not perfect, but better, he nodded. Neither of us is perfect. But better's enough. For the first time, I felt a spark of something warm, small, fragile, but alive. I whispered to the car, to myself, to the night, piece by piece. I'm coming back, and this time, no one would take it away. Mia slid into the booth across from me, her phone already in her hand. You're going to love this, she said. I raised a brow. What now? She smirked, scrolling. Your perfect sister and your perfect boyfriend? Not so perfect. Look, I leaned forward. On the screen, a post from a mutual acquaintance. Saw Claire screaming at Daniel in the parking lot. Money trouble, maybe? I blinked. They're fighting? More than fighting, Mia said. Apparently Claire blew through the cash from your car. Daniel's furious. People are talking, my chest tightened. Part of me wanted to laugh, part of me wanted to scream. So their fairy tale is cracking already. Mia's eyes gleamed. Karma's fast when she's hungry. I sipped my coffee, the bitterness matching my voice. Good, but why doesn't it feel good enough? She leaned closer. Because you're not built for revenge alone. You want healing, not just payback. I shook my head. Right now, I just want them to rot. Later, at the garage, Ethan noticed my distracted hands fumbling over the wrench. You're somewhere else, he said. I sighed. I heard they're falling apart. Arguments, money problems. Everyone's watching them unravel. He set down his tools. And that makes you feel what? Angry, relieved, empty, all at once. He nodded slowly. That's normal. Revenge tastes sweet for a second, but it doesn't fill you. I looked at the car, its body slowly coming back to life. Then what does? Building, he said simply. Not for them. For you. A week later, Mia called me late at night. You won't believe this, she whispered. Daniel lost money gambling. Claire caught him lying. They nearly broke up in the middle of a restaurant. I held the phone tighter. He gambled? Yep, and Claire's been venting to anyone who'll listen. They're both unraveling. I sat in silence, torn between grim satisfaction and a hollow ache. Mia asked, Why are you so quiet? This is what you wanted, isn't it? I whispered, I thought it would fix me. But I don't feel fixed. Just tired. At the garage, Ethan found me sitting against the wall staring at the wreck. Rough night? He asked. I nodded. They're destroying each other. And I don't know if I should cheer or cry. He crouched beside me. Maybe both. I laughed bitterly. They deserve it. But every time I think of them fighting, it's like reliving the betrayal all over again. I want them ruined, but it keeps cutting me too. He studied me, calm. Because revenge ties you to them. Healing cuts the rope. I looked at him, my chest heavy. How do I cut it? He glanced at the car. Keep building. Every piece you fix is proof you don't need them. I exhaled slowly. You make it sound simple. Not simple, he said. Just possible. The next day, Mia barged into the garage with a grin. Guess what? Claire pawned some of her jewelry to cover rent. Daniel was furious. They're drowning. I tightened a bolt, not looking at her. Good, she frowned. Good? That's all you've got? I thought you'd want to celebrate. I wiped my hands on a rag. Celebrate what? That they're as broken as me? That doesn't make me whole. It just makes us all miserable. Mia's voice softened. So what do you want, really? I hesitated, then glanced at Ethan quietly working in the corner. I want to feel like myself again. Not their shadow. Mia followed my gaze, her lips curving. Then maybe you already know where to start. I ignored her smile, but the thought lingered. That night, alone in the garage, I whispered to the wreck, You and me, we're not done yet. They can collapse, they can rot, but we'll rise. I tightened the last bolt of the night. My hands steady. The cracks in their lives were widening. But I was piecing myself together, and maybe, just maybe, I was worth more than revenge. The last bolt clicked into place, and I stepped back, wiping the sweat and grease from my forehead. The car stood there, gleaming under the harsh garage lights, more alive than it had ever been. Ethan whistled low. You did it, I smiled faintly. We did it, he shook his head. No, this was you. I just held the flashlight. I ran my hand across the polished hood. She's mine again. Stronger than before? Feels good? He asked. Better than good, I whispered. Feels like breathing after drowning. Later, sitting with my phone in hand, I stared at the screen. A single file glowed back at me, the mileage report I'd kept through the rebuild. Every line was proof of my persistence, every number a reminder that I had risen. Ethan noticed my hesitation. What's that? A record, I said softly. The hours, the parts, the distance she's run since I brought her back. He studied me. And you're going to send it to them, aren't you? I nodded slowly. Not words. Not screams, just proof. They took her from me, but she came back better. And they'll see that without me saying a thing. Ethan leaned back. Silent revenge, sharp. I exhaled and pressed send. The first reply came hours later, Daniel's number lighting up my screen. You rebuilt it? I didn't respond. A second message followed. Why would you even send me this? I typed, then erased, then typed again before settling on silence. Minutes later, Claire's name appeared. Congratulations. You must be so proud. But don't think this changes anything. I laughed bitterly. Of course she'd say that. Ethan looked over. What did she write? Exactly what I expected. She's pretending it doesn't matter, he smirked. If it didn't matter, she wouldn't be texting. The next day, Mia nearly screamed when she saw the car parked outside the cafe. You did it! She shouted, circling the car. It's beautiful. Better than new, I grinned. She's mine again. Mia slid into the passenger seat, running her hand along the dashboard. Oh, this is more than a car. This is a resurrection. Did you show them? Yes, I said. I sent the mileage report. Her eyes widened. No words? Just the report? Just that, she laughed. Savage. I bet they lost their minds. They did, I said quietly. And I didn't have to scream once. Rumors began to drift back. An old friend pulled me aside at the grocery store. I heard Claire's furious, she whispered. Says you're parading the car around to humiliate her? I smiled faintly. Funny, I haven't said a word. Another neighbor mentioned Daniel. Drunk and muttering about mistakes. Kept saying you never should have sent that file, the neighbor told me. I thanked him. But inside I felt a rush of cold satisfaction. Ethan found me leaning against the hood one evening. You're quiet, he said. I'm listening, I whispered. To what? The silence. For once it's mine. No yelling. No begging. No justifying. Just silence, he nodded. Sometimes silence is louder than anything else. I looked at him, the reflection of the car gleaming in his eyes. Do you think I'm cruel? For sending them proof you rose? No, that's not cruelty. That's survival. I swallowed. Then why do I still feel the ache? Because healing doesn't erase the wound. It just means you stopped bleeding. The text kept coming. Daniel tried again. I shouldn't have let things go this far. Can we talk? I stared at the message, then deleted it. Claire wrote next. Don't flatter yourself. That car won't save you from being alone. I typed a reply this time. Better alone than betrayed. Then I hit send. My chest loosened. Mia cornered me days later. So what now? You've got your car back. They're unraveling. What's next? I rested my hands on the steering wheel. Now I drive wherever I want. No one else gets a say, she grinned. That's the spirit. But later, when the engine hummed beneath me and the road stretched wide, I whispered to myself, it's not about revenge anymore. It's about freedom. That night, Ethan lingered outside the garage as I locked up. You've been different since sending that report, he said. How so? Lighter, stronger, like you finally believe you're more than what they did. I leaned against the door, my voice soft. Maybe I do. Maybe this was never about punishing them. Maybe it was about proving I could rise without them. Ethan smiled faintly. Looks like you've got your answer. I smiled back, fragile but real. Yeah, I do. The car sat gleaming under the streetlight. Every mile I drove a message they couldn't erase. I didn't need their apologies. I didn't need their excuses. My silence had spoken, and it was louder than anything they could ever say. Mia burst into the garage one afternoon, waving her phone like a torch. You won't believe this one. I wiped my hands on a rag. What happened now? She grinned almost wickedly. Daniel lost his job. Got caught making reckless decisions with company funds. They fired him on the spot. I froze, the wrench slipping from my hand. You're serious? Dead serious. People are talking. Apparently he thought he was untouchable. Guess not. I leaned against the hood of my car, my voice low. So it's happening. Karma's collecting her debt. Mia tilted her head. Does it make you happy? I hesitated. No, not happy, just... Right? 2 days later, Ethan mentioned it while we worked. You heard about Daniel? He asked quietly. Yes, I said. He lost everything at work. Ethan tightened a bolt, his tone even. And how does that sit with you? I exhaled. Like justice, but not victory. I didn't lift a finger, yet he buried himself. Ethan nodded. That's how it usually works. People destroy themselves faster than anyone else could. I glanced at him. So all I had to do was wait? Sometimes, he said. Patience is its own weapon. That evening, Mia called again. Guess what? Claire's sick again. Stress, maybe? She's been missing appointments, and with Daniel out of work, she can't afford half her treatments. I closed my eyes. And Daniel? Gone, Mia said flatly. Walked out last week. People saw him with another woman already. My chest tightened. So he left her? Yep, she gambled everything on him, and he ran the second it got hard. I whispered. Poetic. Mia's voice softened. Don't feel guilty. They wrote their own ending. A week later, Claire's number lit up my phone. Against my better judgment, I answered. Her voice was weak, almost broken. Are you satisfied now? He's gone. My health is worse. I've lost everything, I swallowed hard. Satisfied? No, but surprised? Not at all, she coughed. You think this is funny, don't you? No, I said firmly. I don't find any of this funny. I told you once, what you destroy can't be rebuilt. You didn't listen. Her tone turned bitter. If you'd helped me, I wouldn't be here. I laughed sharply. Helped you? I gave you everything, Claire. You stole the rest. And you dare ask for more? Silence stretched on the line. Then quietly she whispered, He never loved you. Not the way he loved me. The words cut, but I steadied my voice. Then you see how worthless his love was. Because now you have nothing, and I still have me. I hung up before she could answer. Ethan found me later, sitting on the curb outside the shop. You look like someone dug up old wounds, he said. I rubbed my hands together. Claire called. She wanted to drag me down with her? And did she? He asked. No, I whispered. For the first time she didn't. I just felt... Done, Ethan nodded. That's strength. Not shouting, not gloating, just walking away. I looked at him, my voice low. So this is justice. Not revenge. Just watching the fire they lit consume them. Exactly, he said. Mia joined us that night, perching on the hood of my car. Word is Claire's alone now. Even her so-called friends are avoiding her. Daniel's name is dirt after what he did at work. They've both burned their bridges. I crossed my arms. Then it's over, is it? Mia asked. Yes, I said firmly. Because I don't need to see any more. I don't need to chase their downfall. It came for them, just like it always would. She studied me. You sound lighter. I am, I admitted. Because I finally see it. Sometimes you don't have to destroy others. They'll do it themselves. All you have to do is survive long enough to watch. Ethan smiled faintly beside us. And you survived. I touched the car's hood, the metal warm under my palm. I did, and I'll keep surviving. That's the only revenge that matters. The engine purred beneath my hands, smooth and strong, nothing like the broken wreck I'd first touched months ago. Mia slid into the passenger seat with a grin. I still can't believe this is the same car. You've turned it into art, I smiled faintly. Not art, a promise. Every mile she runs is proof I'm still here. She leaned back, running her fingers over the dashboard. So what now? Where do you drive from here? I stared out at the road stretching beyond the lot. Anywhere, everywhere, wherever I decide. Later that night, Ethan lingered near the hood, wiping his hands with a rag. You're taking her out tomorrow? He asked. Yes, I said. First long drive. Just me and the road. He gave a small nod. Sounds right, I glanced at him. You're not curious where I'll go? He shrugged. Doesn't matter. What matters is it's your choice this time. Nobody else's, I laughed softly. You always say the simplest things, but they cut the deepest. Scars do that, he replied. I touched the steering wheel. Scars don't disappear. They just remind you where you've been. And where you refuse to go back, he added. The next morning, Mia insisted on seeing me off. You're seriously doing this alone? She asked, standing with her arms crossed. Yes, I said. Alone, that's the point, she huffed. I don't like it. What if the car breaks down? What if you get stranded? I smiled. Then I'll fix it. You forget I built her with my own hands. She won't fail me, Mia softened, her voice dropping. I just don't want you to feel like you have to keep proving yourself. You've already won, you know, I shook my head. I'm not proving anything anymore. I'm living. On the road, windows down, the wind tangled in my hair, I felt lighter than I had in years. At a stoplight, Ethan's number lit up my phone. I answered. How's she running? He asked. Like a dream, I said, smiling. Like she was never broken. And you? He pressed. I hesitated. Like I'm still learning. But I'm not broken either. There was silence on the line, then his quiet voice. You know there's space beside you. Doesn't have to stay empty. I swallowed hard. I know, but right now I think I need it to be. At least for a while. He didn't argue. Fair enough. Just remember, if you ever want company, I don't mind the ride. I smiled faintly. I'll remember. At a diner halfway down the highway, Mia called again. So? Do you feel free yet? She asked. I stirred my coffee. Not free, just in control. For once, it's my hands on the wheel, not theirs, she sighed. I wish I could have been there when you sent that mileage report. Their faces must have been priceless, I chuckled. It wasn't about their faces. It was about mine. Looking in the mirror and finally recognizing myself again. Mia was quiet, then whispered, "I'm proud of you." I closed my eyes, holding on to her words. Thank you. I needed to hear that. By dusk, I pulled into a rest stop, the horizon painted in fire. Ethan's earlier words echoed, "There's space beside you." I looked at the passenger seat, empty, but not lonely. I whispered to it, "Not yet, but maybe someday." The car hummed in response, steady and alive. That night, parked under the stars, I called Ethan again. "Did you mean it?" I asked quietly. "That you'd ride with me if I asked?" "Yes," he said simply. "Even if I don't know where I'm going?" "Especially then," he replied. I smiled into the dark. "You make it sound so easy." "Doesn't have to be complicated," he said. "You survived the hardest part already." I closed my eyes, breathing in the silence. "Maybe, but the scars still ache." "They always will," he said. "But pain doesn't mean weakness. It means you lived." The next morning, Mia called again, her voice bubbling. I just wanted to check. "Are you happy?" I stared at the open road. "Not happy yet, but I'm free." "And maybe freedom comes first," she laughed softly. "Then keep driving, girl. Happiness will catch up." Back behind the wheel, I whispered to myself, the betrayal nearly ended me. But it forged me too. The car's engine roared, echoing my vow. I gripped the wheel tighter. I'm not a victim anymore. I'm the driver. The road stretched out, endless and mine. I pressed the pedal and the world opened. For the first time, every mile belonged to me.